Welcome, welcome everyone, hello. To a little surprise, little kind of chill stream today. Welcome, welcome. There we go. Yo, welcome, Pause Zero. Welcome, everyone, to a little chill stream today. We're not really technically doing anything specific other than like unlocking something right now, and also showing off something I just started diving into in this game and wanted to show it off today. This game continues to impress me on some of the details you can go into with this game, because you don't get to see this part until you own your own vehicle, and it's quite hilarious how detailed it was. I was like, wow. I'm quite impressed. I've made a little bit of a miniature monster until we get the big boy one. Also, the amount of customizations you can do with your decals, just like James kind of showed with his van. You could make some like Call of Duty level mixture of frickin' decals in this game. I'm kind of surprised, and I get kind of why there's no community skins for this game, but I kind of get why there probably isn't also. Because it's got that need for speed level. You could pull off anything if you took time enough to get my drift. So, but it's giving me some ideas on how to make our trucks look different at some point. Helldivers 2 War Update. Melabon Creek is a meat grinder in pure chaos. Dang. Up on my shoulder edges. It's an itchy day. Yeah, I'm gonna try that game out at some point. Actually, I'll have to see if it's on Game Pass. If it's on Game Pass, I actually probably could play that game. I mean, I've got my DSX now. I can make any game work with my control, so. There's no longer, it doesn't matter what app is on anymore, because DSX just overrides it all. Even for games you download from Patreon sites that you donate to. Yeah. And those controls work on those games too, because DSX is its own standalone app. But that is not why we're here today. Today we're here to show off the amazingness that the customization in this game. So let's load up our world. Players are throwing themselves at the jungle planet to prevent it from falling. It has become robot Vietnam, both noobs and veterans dropping like flies. That sounds actually kind of awesome. I would love to see how that game plays. I've heard a lot about it. Like, it's one of the best right now, kind of like sci-fi shooters at the moment. I would love to play it. I'll have to see if it's on Pass. But yes, chat. You see this? So I did a little bit of stuff while off camera. We're going to show what it is. We're at the garage here. We're starting off with the heavy-duty garage. To show how detailed this game actually is. First off, on decal management, this is simple. This is nothing. But the amount of layers you could do if you wanted to, and create the craziest build you're ever going to get. Which is why we're going to change the color of these flames and stuff, and the truck a little bit, inside the garage to kind of showcase all the customizations, along with the customizations to the rig itself that you can make. It's quite good. Sadly, can't do the inside of the rig. It's something I didn't see anything for, which is sad. But oh well. It's not really important, because it's really not really that detailed in there. And as you can see, it's just some brown seating with the dashboard. And the dashboard doesn't even glow or light up and show up outside the truck, so. It's not on Game Pass. It's currently only PC and PlayStation. Yeah, but PC is Game Pass as well. Game Pass does PC games too. Well, the ones that are related that Microsoft has on its platform. But that doesn't mean it's still on there though. It's probably not. I'll check it after we're done with the stream. If it is, I'm definitely downloading it though, because I've been watching on some of that, and I didn't even think about checking. It's one of those I'll have to probably buy at some point, but won't have the ability to at first, unless we sacrifice Homeworld 3. That would be the only way we could do that, like, this next month. Is I'd have to sacrifice another game we were gonna already do in the schedule. Because it has to be within a certain budget, so. But yeah, I'm gonna get in here and start showing us what we got here. Yeah, see, the dashboard shows up once you start getting in the truck. It's a little bit more detailed, as you can tell. And what's funny is, the reason why that is the hard surface is there, like the model. But I'm gonna switch cameras real quick and show something funny. Real quick, to show you, wait, hold on, where's that pole at? Stop, right there. Okay, so I'm gonna turn the truck off for now. So you see how how it's like that? Now let me get out. Oh, where'd it go? It's because what you're seeing is actually a float. Is like a bunch of floating individual assets, basically sitting on top of the block asset that forms the shape, the base asset. There's many words for it, but I don't want to confuse people either. But also, the war in the game is a community event where the entire community has to pull their weight to liberate planets. Yeah, see, that kind of sounds like what For Honor did, but PvP wise, right? But at this time, it's a PvE game, which I think is better that way. I think it's kind of like the Starship Troopers kind of does something like that now too. Not as exact like that. It's not as good, I'll admit. I do think the Helldiver one is better in that case, but it's similar at least. So there's a lot of stuff going on in those types, and it's why I would love to play Helldivers. But like I said, y'all would have to tell me that though. If y'all, by the way, Homeworld's not set in stone. That was just the original one I went with because I figured that's what everyone wanted to see. But if y'all would rather see Helldivers 2, and I see if James can pick it up if he wants to try it out, or we can just do it on our own, or Darius can join in, or any other one, then do let me know before next month, because it has to be before I get Homeworld. Otherwise, there's no going back, and it'll be too late. You'll have to wait. Either way. Let me go back. So, welcome to the customization menu. First off, there's repairs you can do, just like anything. Now, when you're in the company truck, this never costed us anything. I see how expensive it is now. We're going to start with painting. You can paint the body. Now, I can only paint what you see here, body 1, body 2, and window. Now, my window is a black tint, which is really, I dialed down the opacity, so it looks more natural. The body 2 is this. That's the white. Body 1 is this purple. Now, that's decals. So let's go back to that, right? So here's what I want to show you. So you see how there's different layers. Now, I cheated, even though you see 2 here. I just mirrored it. Did the mirror toggle. Which I love when games that let you customize things like this have that in it, a thing. Even in indie games where you can just toggle mirror mode on and it does the opposite exact side of what you're doing, parallel. It's so nice. So you can cut down on layers. But yeah, you can change layer types, layer levels, just like you would do in Need for Speed when you're making like a custom look here on top of your truck. Now, for this, what we're going to do is we're going to change the color around to meet what the, I do call this truck just Ghost, because I do like this setup even as a Guardian Core truck. But it's also in honor of another Ghost that has fire in it. So let's fix our emblems to be the right color before we change the truck's color. Do we want that one? I mean, that's the most realistic looking one. That's its standard color. I think I like that better because it'll look good, I think, on the black. Let's see. So, hit OK. Now we go to paint. Go to body 1. And this is black. There we go. Nice. And we're going with the Robbie version. If you haven't caught on to what I've made this into. Alright, cool. Cool. Hit OK. Cost 100, yep. Alright, so now to make sure the name is still Ghost. It is. Okay. Now we're gonna go into parts. Now into the main part of this. The bug front is the safest with the noobs pushing the bugs back on all sectors. That sounds so hilarious. I love that. I wish I could jump in on that. I love Starship Trooper style like games like that, especially when they add in like zone control type stuff. But so yeah, chat, let's look at these. I'm gonna start at the bottom, the less important part. As you can tell, this is at the bottom left. This is how you tell your dynamic range or dynamo. I'm not sure how I think this is torque with. This is how much horsepower, how fast you'll lose it, depending on how much torque you've dropped below. But we're averaging like up here now. So as you can see, max torque 2051. I don't know how to get the RPMs up. I haven't seen anything I've upgraded change this. The engine's done everything up here in max power, and everything else I've changed, and this changes, but this don't change for some reason. But I've made this little truck quite a little beast, which we're gonna show a custom special route that James came up with in line with my route. We basically combined our routes together, realizing they connected via some of the stops that it allows, which I'll show what that whole route is during this episode using this truck. This truck can do it quite quickly. And I now know autopilot mode in this, when you don't want to drive the truck yourself, or your finger is getting sore or holding gas down, or getting tired of steering a little bit. You actually can let the AI actually drive for you, as long as you're in the truck. So I'll do that to like read chat and stuff like that. But let's see, the machine front is collapsing into a full-scale route with 4 planets falling. Wait, you have to fight machines too? Oh, see, that I didn't know. Nice. That's also very scary. Helldivers being called from the bug front to stop the tide, and Malevolent Great being a rallying cry for the Helldivers. Oh, that sounds amazing. I would love to be in that and see what that's like. Oh man, sounds fun. But let's look at these. Let's start at the bottom. So, etc. So they don't have a lot in this game at the moment. I don't know if this game will get any more updates. It's already at least 2 years old, I think. This game is maybe 3. It doesn't mean it won't get updated. I don't actually know if it will or not. I'm not going to say yay or nay on that. But if it ever does, you can tell they intended that they're going to put a customizations, much like SnowRunner did for all like aesthetics and things like that, different types of headlights. You can even do window stickers, like licensings. Now these, I think you can actually still do if you have a taxi or a bus, because these are important towards the job. We could have put a roof rack on here, cargo bed attachment if we had that. Now what it does have, even though it's only got 2, I can either put a utility box to help, I think, repair, much like SnowRunner kind of did, or I can do a fuel tank and add to my total fuel capacity once again, just like SnowRunner kind of did. I just added 2 fuel tanks. It makes this thing super efficient. Plus, it fights against the dino here, the dynamic range, basically. When it's using fuel, going uphill, slowing down, stuff like that. You can do aerodynamics, which that's not in here. At least not for this truck. I don't think it's for any of the big rigs. I know you can do this for the race car. Like any of the race vehicles, some of them do have these in order to make a better race vehicle. You can change your wheels. For us, it doesn't really change much. We can just change the type of truck wheel. So, like, if I wanted that truck wheel, or that truck wheel, or that truck wheel. I just stayed with the HD ones because they look more like what a Mack truck would have. So. You can change your tire. We can't on ours. Once again, this is more for racing and different types of other vehicles. Now here comes something we can do. This comes the part that like made my mind go, do what? You allowed me to do what now? So this game, for big rigs, and also once again, race cars also depend on this too. Just in a different fashion. This game lets you customize your spring type percentage. I'm at 80% for this to help the bouncing. We're going to see if it's better or worse. I'm kind of experimenting a little bit with this truck. I haven't done any dampeners yet. I might put in 80 to 80 with the 80. I don't know yet. We're going to see how bouncy she gets. If she gets too bouncy, it's going to be a problem. You can also change, which you can see right now I have a negative one just in case I need to lower my truck. I thought I was going to need this. I don't. I'm actually going to grab the 4 plus real quick. We're only going to be able to buy it. No, we can buy it for all. We're good. You do have to buy it for all 6 tires if you want the whole truck to be raised. Now, if you just want part of the truck to be raised and the other part not to be, you can actually just put it on the front. 2 tires. This game, like I said, this game is very, very bold and very interesting. It was quite it's quite surprising to see. Just like, I need that for a different setup. If you're wondering why I bought those. I'm not installing them though. And then you can also, which this one's installed for me to make my wheels a little wider, just a little bit to space it out for tipping. It's not much. We don't really carry much that would too top it'd be except the logs. The logs have been giving me a little bit of an issue, which I'm trying to figure out a way around. I think it has something to do more with the trailer models a bit wrong, and it's dragging into the ground, and it's not supposed to. So it's making it actually take a lot more power to pull it than it's, even when it's not loaded. So there's a bit of a bug with that trailer. But, you can just, cause look at this, look how wide I can make these tires. This is if you had a really big boy load you needed to carry. Which I don't think there's anything that big in this game that would warrant a 100mm width increase. There's not really, so make sure I have. Yeah, we need to buy all 6 of these. So we have enough for all of them. This is for my other truck, because we are going to be earning up to get another truck today. That is our main goal, to kind of and show off the route at the same time. Because I'm going to make a lot of money. You're going to see how quickly I make all the money that you're probably thinking I'm spending right now back. You don't know how many times I've been up to 130,000 and just blew it away and then got it right back. This game's pretty good for that. Thought I had one of those. That's weird. Okay, so I got extra on that. Good. The roll bars I've done back here, up here, and back here. There's no need for any others. Now let's go show off the other stuff. So that was suspension. You can also do your brake pads. I've installed the biggest brake pad types. Just this one. As you can tell. Now, it looks like they need to be repaired. You see, look, installed, yeah. It's weird how it shows the install. Because it's acting like I have none. It might be because they're broken and they need repair. Let me check. This game's kind of weird in that aspect once you install stuff. I did notice that. But I think that's just the simplification of the menu. Oops, that's the wrong thing. Yeah, you can customize everything, even the brake power. I put it up to 130,000 because it helps me stop the fuel tanker a little bit easier going downhill. I've got the largest radiator this one will allow me. Intake is a short intake instead of a long intake. We could go long intake and make her take longer to get to her higher RPMs and then drop off. It would give us more, it would give us less power, more max torque. So this would be better in the logging situation and the issue with the logs that are happening. But you can see it also hurts my drop-off point too. Like the initial point is really good, but as I get faster, I lose power. So I decided to stay short intake. We're probably going to go long intake for the big one. I'm not going to install the largest engine. I did upgrade to a 440 horsepower one to get us up to this, what we see here, this 494. This will be actually the first time using it for this route. So me and you get to experience how good this engine actually is now. I'm not upgrading my turbo either. Yes, there is a turbocharger in this big rig, because why not? I went with stock for now. We're going to go stage 1 once we get the big boy. Not in this truck, we're not, though. I am an 18 speed for this. I have a 13 that I own just in case I want to go a little bit faster in the acceleration, but less overall speed. This is faster top speed. So, and then this is the thing that surprised me the most, and I actually broke this accidentally in the beginning of when I first started building it. Not understanding when I change speed, how many speeds and gears I've got to go through. I've got to mess with my gear ratio in this game in order to make sure it's not trying to shift through too many gears at once and we're just sitting there going shift, 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 doing no, basically barely moving. So I realized, okay, I needed my gear shifts to take really, really, really long, so I went into the lowest. Up here is how fast of a ratio he'll add to each shift. You see I had these up here. These were terrible ideas. I couldn't remember which was which. If higher was better depending on your geared box, or if lower was better. Lower was better in my case. I can get away with a 2.73 though. I feel like we might end up doing that with the faster engine, but we'll see when we get going. And last but not least, you can also do one-way clutch types. I did actually do a one-way clutch on this to make it a little easier to make her a little more race truck-like, but also delivery truck. We're not going to go higher than that because it'll ruin the way she drives. But we went for street and racing to make it so it works for it, but it don't overwhelm it. This is what it normally has. See, normally it's like you would want lock differential, and this is for drifters. But my brain's like, yeah, I don't want that for this. Like, I could go 2-way clutch or a 1.5-way clutch for that way. There's all kinds of ways to set this up. But I still think for my build at the moment for this truck, the speediest version is this. And I have it on both. So. But yeah, this game is insane with the amount of things you can do, so. Let's get out of here, now that we've done all that. Oh wait, hold on. There's something I think I forgot to do. I bought them, but I don't think I put them on. Hold on. Was it springs? Yeah, I didn't put my springs on. Alright. I didn't buy any dampeners. think we're good everywhere else. I don't remember buying. I don't think I bought anything else. Okay. Let us go see how this does. We're gonna run in third person a little bit today, just because we'll be able to return a little quicker if it screws up. I'm also gonna need fuel, so let's head over to the gas station. Oh yeah, see how fast that gear went up all of a sudden? So, if it starts to be a little too quick, what I'll have to do is go to a lesser gearbox, because there is no slower gear ratio in this game, so I think it'll still be reasonable. Alright. So let's fuel it up. You can see how expensive it is for me to fill up now. Let's see. Oh, I missed a lot of stuff. Welcome, Temp King. Evening all, Temp King. If you ever play Helldivers 2, fight the machine front, especially Malevolent Creek. We need more cannon fodder. I mean, brave Helldivers. I'll definitely getting Helldivers 2. Looks really good, but it'll have to wait until after FF7. I'll be doing my part to spread democracy to the bugs. The bugs are being pushed back. We need bodies in the machine front. I'll be there soon. I heard that fight was pushed back slightly because players farming a certain mission is allowing others to fall, lol. That's how it is in games like that sometimes. Sad. It's like, who cares about that? I want to grind. No one cares about this planet. They're throwing everything at the Malevolent Clique, which is pretty much a lost cause. They should add a bonus XP or something to encourage players to go after planets that need pushback and not just easy farmable ones. Yeah, I agree with that. It would push players to beat, because they need to not force it, but incentivize it more, kind of like that PlanetSide game did that one time back when it was a little bit more balanced. It's still fun, but it's okay. Let's put it that way. Oh, wait, hold on. I gotta choose our destination. We have to go get us a log trailer. So yeah, chat, you're gonna be seeing the route that James and I came up with between our two routes. My fuel/oil route combined with a log to planks, and planks to the oil rig, so they can use it to build more oil rigs. Along with, if I had someone running fuel, we could double up on it and make us do infinite amounts of money. But is you take the wood up there so they build more oil rigs. You take the oil from the oil rig to the dock where the fuel is. Then you take fuel back up to the oil rig. You see what's happening. And then you just cheat it and you teleport yourself back to your house. Which now I know why you want to buy houses around the map, so you can fast travel to the areas that you want to start your route from. And just teleport your truck there. I've become a machine-efficient monster. Also, this truck has a turbocharger in it. It is a delivery/Ghost Rider race truck, as you can tell. Until we earn enough in this stream to get Venom, aka Darkseid. It's gonna look like Darkseid first, but then I'm gonna turn it into Venom. It's gonna be our slower but way more powerful truck. Like, I'm gonna build it for torque more than, well, it's gonna have horsepower, it's gonna have a big engine, but it's gonna be built more towards torque. So there's nothing it can't pull, or throw, or eat, or devour, and those guys will consume in darkness. Also, we're playing in third person today since we played in first person most of the time, just so we can show off the trucks. Also, AI piloting in this game is real cheesy. This is the greatest game ever designed, also, I want to say, because I'm going to show something. Let me get past the AI first. They're kind of locked up. That's the only part that takes forever. If you're fine with being patient with that and you just want to chill and enjoy the game, I'm going to show y'all something funny. Let me get in front of this guy first. That's what we're trying to get, by the way, chat. That's the ultimate goal. That's what we're gonna turn into Venom. Let me get in front of him and show y'all something real quick. Alright. Oh. Alright, so. I'm no longer driving, chat. At all. Just watch. I'm gonna let it have fun while I read chat. It's the robot. Not gonna lie, I'd love to see James let loose in Helldivers with a friendly fire. Much hilarity is guaranteed. It would be. We all know it would be insanity. Wait until they add the mech and tank from Helldivers 1, then it'll be. Oh, I can't wait. That'd be great. But yeah, Chad, I'm not driving right now. If you ever want to just sit and chill and you just want a game where you can just like kind of just sit back and lay back and. You know, you're a little tired, you don't feel like driving the route yourself, but you want to get there still, put autopilot on. Because you can either have cruise control on, which just sets your speed so you don't have to hold down left click to drive, or at least with my build. Or you can completely turn the AI on and it'll just drive for you. Now, depending on your rig, it will have a hard time in certain areas where it's going to slow down drastically because the AI doesn't take no chances. Like I do. So, like, watch this turn. Look how early she's going to slow down for this. She had to hit my race brakes. She's like, whoa, this thing's fast, yep. Also, the AI will push your truck if you have a fast enough truck. Now, you notice how tipsy it's very with this turn. That's not the truck, that's just the AI being very careful. It's very tiptoey around stuff like that. Tesla truck for the win. But, it's very tiptoey around that. But, this would be good for disabled people. Like, no lie, if you could take this AI and it was efficient enough, which we're getting there, we're getting close. This already is kind of starting to be a thing for certain vehicles, like Tam King just mentioned. But if it becomes efficient, cheap enough, and safe enough, this would be a great thing for disabled. Own your own vehicle with your own AI and it just drives me. God. Now, of course, I would want one I could drive myself as well, but, you know, in those situations where it's safer or it's a long journey and I need to get some rest and I want safety, like if I had to take a long trip to Georgia or I was in Georgia, I had to take a long trip to somewhere else to visit family or friends. And at some point, I am gonna, unless something changes, I am gonna still move back down there at some point once all the insane chaos has stopped happening, along with this craziness with the van and everything else. I can start saving money again to my original goal. Yeah, look how tiptoe she is around these dirt roads. Dirt roads are also a little bit weird for the AI in this game, but it's still pretty good. At least for the big rig. ATS would be amazing too. Advanced self-driving cars would be a godsend. They would. I'd love them. I know AIs get scary and shouldn't be advanced in some ways. And I do agree in some ways we need to be careful not to let it replace too many human jobs as well. But in this kind of situation, I do feel like, at least for disabled purposes, here comes the problem in the double-edged sword, though. Right? And I'm going to say this and be honest about this, even as a disabled person, as much as that would benefit me. As good as that would be for someone in my scenario, the issue with this and the double-edged sword is, of course, companies are going to change it and use it to, like, automize, like, buses, for instance. Truck driving. Things like that, like this right here. I mean, this is a big rig. Imagine, and you're going to see it can do a trailer, too. I'm going to show you both versions. We're going to see how well... I'm actually going to test it and see if it'll overpower this glitch. There is a bug with this game with the log trailer, where it sinks into the ground a little too easily when it starts to incline up a hill. So it actually drags on the ground, keeping your truck from accelerating unless it has a lot of horsepower. So we're going to see with this upgraded engine if the AI can actually get past this problem. If it can, then that kind of does make that a little bit fearful in the fact of, well, you know, this is just a random indie game AI, right? So keep that in mind. One point down. Whoa, hello, hi. I didn't do that. You did that. Whoa, hold on. Shit. First off, let's drive. Whoa, God, the AI is so wonky when it comes to cutting you off. Also, you can buy cones in this game. There's something else I'm gonna show off eventually when me and James like hardcore like role play this. Okay. Get out of the truck. I gotta lift up the we're gonna see if it can handle what I'm about to put it through. If not, I am thinking about maybe using raised suspension on this to fix this bug. On both versions of the truck. I'm just gonna go up this way. I already know where I'm going, so. This will be a good test for me to see how hard the truck is gonna handle up a hill with this trailer having its problem. I think it's only when the logs are loaded on it though, because it becomes so heavy. Now we're by the way, in true SnowRunner territory. What you're about to see is this game's closest attempt at what a SnowRunner area would have been like. And I actually did have a problem when the bug kind of showed its ugly head. It kind of did bring back a little bit of SnowRunner vibes, but the funny thing about it is there's a way around it in this game where there's not in SnowRunner. And I'm like, that is just baffling. So yes, indie game found way around problem. Big game, well, I won't say big game, but bigger game could not. At least not to a brand new game. Ha 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 ha. Sorry, my brain, little ranty. Also, someone needs to tell me, has anyone seen Madam Web? Because I need to know if it's as bad as I've been hearing now. Because I think it might be the new Iron Man 3, and I'm very upset. Because I think they cut back, like, you know how Iron Man 3 cut out like 75% of what you saw in the trailer for Iron Man 3 back in the day when they showed off Iron Man 3 for the first time. And it had all these cool scenes in it, but it never showed any of those scenes in the actual movie and cut all of that out. Well, this time it's worse. I'm just gonna leave it at that. And I need someone to confirm this before. I don't want to rag on it if it's not totally true. But I am hearing that that movie ended up being pretty terrible. Which kind of makes me sad. Alright, well, we need to take this to the lumber mill. So you're about to see this trip. So, $12,000 for this trip. To take these logs to this lumber mill, and then you'll see what we're going to do from there. It's a very tricksy route. Alright, hold on. Let's see if the AI can do this. I'm not doing anything. I want to see what she does. If she goes too slow, she's not going to do this if the glitch still holds it back too much. Is this what you're supposed to do? It's dragging. I hear it. Will it make it up the hill with a 480 power engine? Oh! Oh, almost! Almost. Oh! Oh, it's trying. No. Whoa, that's the problem though. Ooh, I don't want to tip over. Yeah. So that's what I mean right there. You hear that dragging noise that you're hearing? That's what's happening. So the problem is now I have to finagle this trailer back because the AI screwed up my angle. Ah, shit. Hold on. We're gonna have to be real annoying with this. We're gonna have to. You're gonna see something real crazy looking, but this is the only way to fix this. I'm gonna have to do this myself. The AI can't do this, which makes sense because something's breaking in the trailer, so the AI doesn't know how to get around that. But I do. Yeah, you hear that? That's not supposed to happen. That noise you're hearing, that's the tail of the trailer dragging on the ground. That's the only part that makes this route inefficient a little bit. But as long as you know what's going to happen just as the player, just don't let the AI do this part if you're just trying to chill and let the AI make you some money in the background. Because I do kind of like that they thought about that in this game. They're like, well, they're not going to want to drive the whole time. All right, we got to go. Go, 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 go. I have to risk damage to do this. Yep, there we go. And that's what you do. You have to risk damage in your rig a little bit to do it. But you have to have enough speed around going from inside where you picked up the logs to get up that little hill. But as you saw, there's a way around that, and it's a bug. If that had been SnowRunner, you would have never got out of there. It'd have been forever trapped, never to be seen again. Alright, now I'm gonna let the AI take over again. Let me read chat. It could be good as an accessible feature for cars. For example, if you can use brakes when the car will steer, but if you can steer the AI will assist with braking, etc. That'd be kind of cool. That actually would be a good way for me to do either or. Like if I could, I would prefer steering and let it. I don't know. Actually, do I? I actually don't know which would be better. I think you'd be safer with you control braking and accelerating, and let it do the steering. So if it screws up, you have a chance to stop. Whereas if it's controlling the acceleration for you and it fricks up, that could break you and get you rear-ended, or that could get you run into the back of something, or into something, or out in traffic. That is the only downside with AI. That's why it would have to be super refined. And the ones I've seen are doing pretty good. And they're pretty generally well, and they are starting to advertise cars that are starting to not truly self-drive, but we're close. We're getting close. And to be fair, ironically, if you had the right pathing and the nodes, here's how this is the thing that, oh, this is where the AI is going to screw up. Hold on, it does this every time. Hold on, I got to make this turn wider. It doesn't know to make that turn wide with this trailer. It's going to get it hung. Some parts aren't perfect, even in this, but... So the Morbius was a good movie. At least it stayed within the confounds of what the Marvel universe is. I do have a bad feeling, and I don't want to say this out loud, that I think we've had as much fun as we're going to have from Marvel. I think what's sad about this, and this is what makes me upset, because of course it's happening during this time. Oh, the AI screwed it up. Hold on. Of course it's happening during the time when the anti-hero era is trying to be born. The part that I want, the era I want the most. And it's like, it does make me a little sad in that aspect. But it does feel like maybe we're seeing a little bit of Marvel fall off the frickin' wagon. And I do think it's a little bit of... I don't know what to blame this on in this one. I feel like it was just bad directing in general. I just don't think whoever was put in charge really just had any proper vision or even knew the source material once again. It's the same problem Borderlands is going to have. But I do think Borderlands, and the irony in this situation is, I actually think Borderlands will do better than Madam Web did. Because Madam Web is terrible. I mean, from all the way from whole entire parts of the whole movie and the plot literally being cut completely that was in the trailer that basically insults 4 of the characters and who they are. Bad dubbing of the voices, which means, like, so the main villain, when he talks, his lips are not even in sync with what's being said. So it makes you go, who the hell okayed this at Marvel Studios? And it makes Iron Man 3 look like a good movie. And that makes me so upset. Because the only part the movie even got right, and this is funny, because watching other people review this movie who don't know what Madam Web is, that are laughing at the last part of the movie going, what is the end of the movie as well? Not realizing that's the only part of the movie that actually is canon. Her being in that floating wheelchair with those big goggles able to see the Spider-Verse is actually canon. But the rest of the movie and all the cutout stuff that could have been canon and made the movie better, destroyed it. They completely ruined it by completely cutting it out. Oh, and the main bad guy, instead of him having his real name, and I forgot what his real name is, I looked it up yesterday, or last night after I watched this movie, but I kind of forgot what it was this morning. But in the movie, he's called Ceiling Guy. And I'm like, and the lore for her mother is a bit scattered. It's accurate, and so is technically the bad guy's lore, but done the wrong way. And it's almost portrayed as he's some B-level bad guy that's not really that important. And I'm like, what? It's kind of like the same thing that's Handsome Jack, even though this is not as popular as Handsome Jack is as a character. This character from the Spider-Verse. He's still a main villain. And it's like, so he should have an easier time making this guy more like his actual comic book self than some random Spider-Man evil guy. Or evil Spider-Man. And I'm like, what? It's a bit odd. They did the multiverse jumping part pretty well. But it just, I don't know, it's a bit odd, a lot of the choices they made. I bet Marvel pulls out a new Avengers and brings back the original cast. They probably will. There has been a lot of rumors of it. I've been seeing Hawkeye in commercials on TV all of a sudden. I actually think Tam King's on the ball with that. I think that much like Star Wars, something happened. I'm not gonna say this out loud because I have no proof that it is this, but something tells me that another Star Wars situation happened. Because the Marvel movie was the same way. A lot of crud was cut out. Things didn't make sense. It was very disconnected from all the rest of the movies ever made. So it confuses you and goes, what? Why? Who was okay with this? Damn, the AI had a hard time stopping right there. It doesn't know how to use my truck. It's a little too much truck for the AI. Look at completely, it's gotta take this corner so slow. I love it. It's good relaxing though. But but yeah. It's so strange. Let's see. I bet let's see, the Morbius director did it. The Morbius director did it and the writing team fucked up. And pretty much everything else are not just said. Wait, the Morbius director is that the one that did the Madam Web movie? That's kind of sad because the Morbius movie was good. Maybe they should stick to vampires. Maybe they should help with the Blade side. I don't know if I should say that. I don't want to jinx Blade like that. I'm real scared for Blade now. Like, I really am. It scares me that Blade's not going to get the right attention it needs now because of this weird whatever. I'm hoping this has taught them a lesson that Madam Web did so bad that please stop letting certain things influence certain things. Also, and here's the thing, I almost wonder if it's a reverse situation in this too, because it does feel like, why was all the scenes, I'm gonna spoiler alert before I say the rest, huge spoiler alert, the whole movie is about Madam Web trying to save the other Spider-Girls from the different spider that are in this version of the universe. But in the trailer, the other Spider-Girls get their powers. Like, you see them in their suits. One of them even gets the mechanical spider legs from her universe for her. Like the cyber spider legs, the Tony ones, the ones that Peter has. There's even huge references to Peter. Oh, by the way, this is something I can't blame the reviewer for. I cannot blame the reviewer for this. I watched one of my YouTubers I watch now. Big shout out to her channel, Chalandrazard. I watch her for like video game reviews and other kind of like just kind of news on crazy crud going on and just, but not negative, right? Someone who looks at it, kind of talks about it in a positive way, but also kind of brings like, what in the world happened here? And she openly says she's not even that big of a Spider-Man fan, so this is not her on this one. This is what I'm about to critique as a Spider-Man fan. So they made Aunt May Peter's mother. So if that doesn't make your head hurt, I don't know what does. Now they don't even, and they know that they screwed up. It almost feels like a company that has nothing to do with Marvel Studios made this movie and is not connected to the Marvel Studios lore again. It's almost like this movie has the same problem we had back when Sony was separated from Marvel Studios. But it's not a Sony movie. It's a different movie. This isn't Spider-Man. It's actually clearly not Spider-Man because they weren't even allowed to say Spider-Man in it. They literally couldn't even say the Spider-Men. They had to call the tribe of spider people that they show from Madam Web's lore, which that part was accurate. They couldn't even call them Spider-Men because somehow, I don't know whatever this movie is, it feels like it ended up as some third-party college movie. Almost kind of like that Alien movie was. That Alien movie that got made. Covenant, whatever it was. It's like, it felt like some college got this movie, or it's weird. And I know they didn't, by the way. I know that's not the case. That's what it feels like. It's what weird alternate reality, odd feeling that this movie gives off. But yeah, Aunt May is Peter's mother. Uncle Ben is Aunt May's brother, who takes care of Aunt May, who's pregnant with hashtag special character. And they even have this weird baby shower, apparently, in the movie. That is completely just, like, totally hinting at, oh, it's totally Peter Parker inside of Aunt May. But no reason to why, and this is not even important to the lore, and it's wrong to the lore to begin with. So my brain's like, huh? It just hurts my Spider-Man soul. That's all I can say. It's like, I just don't know. And it's like, I don't want, like I said, this is not a review in my own right. This is more just me kind of talking on the subject of this movie and what she talked about, and a lot of other people are ragging on this movie too about this. Other Spider-Man fans, other reviewers going from other perspectives saying, and it's funny, it's not even what makes this worse, it's not even just the comic book side that was wrong. Like the lore, that's not even the biggest problem. The movie itself was badly cut, badly designed, and badly directed as far as, like, the camera angles and many other things. Like, other professional, like, what do you call it, cinematographers and stuff who've been talking about this movie even hate this movie. It's bad. Like, I have no words. Let's go to the next part of the route. We gotta spawn our next trailer, which is the 30-foot dry van trailer. Hold on, let's try to get a different color. I'm gonna be a little stickler about this. Nope. Well, actually, no, that works because we're not purple right now. Because we're going Ghost Rider truck. But yeah. But this is also... I'm also treating this kind of like a vlog to kind of talk to you guys for a little bit as well, which is why we're going to let the AI drive a lot. So I can kind of chill and chat with you guys. And just earn money and passively. But once I get the load going, I'll re-chat. So give me a second. Let me pick up the planks what we need. And I'll re-chat. It made life a little harder putting that there, but that's fine. Alright, yep, oil rig, both of them. Nice. Perfect. So you'll see the kind of the pathing that's happening. So we brought logs to the lumber mill to make more planks. We're now taking the planks to the oil rig, which needs the planks to build more oil rigs, which is, in the game's perspective, this is part of the logistics to make oil faster for us to take to the fuel dump to make into fuel at the harbor. Alright, I'm gonna let the AI take over now, and let's read chat. Yes. Oh, wow. So it is the same director as Morbius. I missed that part. Wow, that's sad. Because that movie was actually pretty decent. And a part of the actual lore. Which makes this even more confusing. If they told me that they use ChatGPT to make these recent Marvel shows, I'd believe that. To be fair, so would I. And that is starting to be... That is a subject that's in kind of big debate right now. Are some of these companies actually doing that? Some games feel like that now. Like some of these games that are being pushed out, and I'm not talking about AAA. I'm talking about indie ones either. Just these random ones that don't make sense sometimes, especially those phone ones, like those phone games. Especially as an example from the game side of things, it does feel like that we're kind of in that era where it's being too abused. And she's also. I definitely recommend checking out Shalandra Zard's channel if you want to see things of covering stuff like this, because her channel is better for stuff like that. And she's more informed than I am in those kinds of subjects. So, especially depending on what it is. So, plus I'm more of a Let's Play channel, anyways. I decided not to be one of those types of channels, but she does it the best because a lot of channels tend to make it negative, where she does it in a positive take. So, definitely, yeah, check out her channel, but, and for that kind of stuff, but it's gotten to be kind of that kind of way in general, it feels like. It's just weird. We're getting into a very scary, unusual place. Not in the sentient AI place. I mean, that feels like it's on its way here, but as far as, like, just in general, normal AI, that's the thing that's scary the most. Like, normal AI has gotten so good as far as just regular advanced AI that's just for calculating, doing certain jobs, this, that. That's what's the most dangerous kind of right now. Like, forget the Terminator thing and people freaking out about that kind of stuff. What's more scary at this point in reality with AI is that it's kind of getting to the point where companies are kind of using it to cheat their way through. Meaning this is probably costing people jobs as well. I can't say that for certain. I don't have numbers and all that. Once again, I'm not that kind of channel. I used to do that kind of digging, but I don't anymore. But I can just from a normal person's perspective, just on the outside the box, I can tell you that's probably becoming a thing and becoming a problem. It's not to a mass scale yet by any means, but it's getting to a point where it's starting to look efficient enough where it could become a bigger problem. So, but yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. I actually would not put it past it that some of these movies are even being made in that kind of way. And Madam Web definitely feels like it. It feels like a movie that was put together by an AI that went, okay, so if you think of it from an AI's perspective, it would make sense. I'm not saying that's what this is. But if you did look at it from that perspective, the strategy was create a movie in the trailer that looks really good. A Madam Web movie with a bunch of the other Spider Girls from the Spider-Verse who have to be saved by Madam Web from the Dark Spider-Man. I forget his name from the actual universe in the comic book. That's the one thing I can't remember off the top of my head. I do not remember his name. It's not Ceiling Guy. But it's definitely not Ceiling Guy. But it's weird, and it almost does feel like an AI went and looked at a few Spider-Man universe comic books and kind of just threw them together and came up with a plan and gave it to the directors and went, just do this. Because it is real people. It's a live action movie, and it is done by a director. But it does make you wonder, did the director get its ideas from ChatGPT? It does feel that way. Yeah, and that's true. And YouTube is chock full, just like Tam King just said. YouTube is chock full of AI generated fake channels. Chock full of them. Like, to a dangerous extent. God, this looks so good. This game's also so beautiful for a voxel game. I want to point out on going off that subject and tangent for just a second. This game is so beautiful. The lighting is so good. I love the sunset. It actually bounces off like lighting off the truck. They did a good job with their lighting. This person was definitely knew how to do lighting when they designed their levels, and I absolutely do love it. Plus, the beauty of being able to let the AI drive and just kind of check out angles of your truck. I took a couple of screenshots earlier that I'm gonna make a JPEG. I'm gonna make 2 JPEGs. One of this truck and one of our next truck we're gonna unlock by trying to do jobs. Now here's where the slow part's gonna come in. This is why I'm hoping the stronger engine gives the AI a little bit better oomph over these hills. Because, this is where the AI struggles the most up these hills with the larger, especially when we come back with the fuel tank, the fuel tanker, where it kind of slows down to almost like 15 miles an hour. It looks like it's doing pretty good. It's staying dang near 30 uphill with 10,000. What do we got? It doesn't show me in here. I think it was almost 10,000 kilograms of weight right now. So half of what I would be carrying in the fuel tanker. Is it using ray tracing? If not, that's a really good SSR. I agree. I don't know if it's using ray tracing or not, actually. I don't know, sadly enough, about this game's development to know. I got into this game because of James. I did, and what little videos I saw of it on another YouTuber. But when James bought me this, thanks to him, big shout out to his channel, by the way, Mad Lad James. He's taking a break today. He had to get some sleep. That's why he's not on today. He technically has the day off, but he was dead tired. His sleep schedule's been completely ruined. So he's trying to catch up on some rest. So I decided to do a vlog slash just resting kind of drive. Like relaxing drive and let the AI kind of do most of the work. With an upgraded truck. Now I heard rumors Sony is trying to rush the next Spider-Man after Madam Web's flop. Well, I mean, to be fair, Marvel Studios is a part of that too, right? If it's actually Spider-Man itself, that's definitely a main lore character, and is actually already been established as a part of the Avengers and stuff. So you know, if that's the case, you know Marvel Studios must be looking at this and going, "Ah, frick." This is why you gotta be careful with certain directors. Like, these days, it's like, just like the Star Wars fiasco for different reasons. Not the same thing, but still different reasons. I'm gonna stop and get fuel. But, you know, for different reasons, with the Star Wars thing that ended up happening, I'm gonna cheat it a little bit just to make this a little easier and faster. Just like with the Star Wars fiasco. It's like, you can't really just let any director have any project. You really do need your director to be suited to the project, or have someone who has at least enough passion to give a crud about what the project is. Because otherwise, you're kind of just on purposely setting it up to fail, where you won't really make any real money out of it. So they're gonna protect that like it's their soul on the line. They will, yeah, that's their baby, yeah. And the fact that Madam Web basically loosely applied that Peter was, it's rough. If that director gets any more Marvel movies, I'll be surprised. Yeah, she's definitely better uphill at L2 and L1. She actually does climb hills pretty good now. Let me let the AI Whoa! James, are you here? James's spirit just jumped in my game. Well, I'm glad I caught that on stream. I'll tell him about that. Well, no, trust me. If it's any Spider-Man, it's like Captain America, Iron Man now, and all of those. Those are now kind of like the quintessential game changers and the guys who put the butts in the seats kind of situation. So Spidey's one of those now. So just like the other Avengers. So trust Sony and Marvel Studios ain't gonna if a Spider-Man movie comes out to save this, oh, it'll be good. It'll be 1,000 times better than whatever happened with that movie with Madam Web. Like I said, that could have been a brilliant movie, but whoever was in charge, or however the decision makings was done, or whatever caused it, absolutely tanked it. It's a terrible movie, and it's like, the irony is, like I said, if you're gonna waste your money going to see a bad movie, or at least a movie that's not good, go see a movie that's gonna be more entertaining if it's not good. At least the Borderlands movie is gonna do that. Like the Borderlands movie that we were talking about the other day, that will at least deliver an entertainment. This Madam Web can't even do that. And I'm like, that's bad. It's like, a lot can be forgiven if your movie at least somewhat entertains. Now, will a lot of people that are a fan of the Borderlands franchise not like the Borderlands movie? Yeah, most likely. But as far as entertainment value at just a flat value is concerned, as just a movie to watch, a fun, cool, hilarious movie to watch, somewhat, rated R somewhat, yeah, okay, yeah, you're definitely gonna have more fun watching that than you did Madam Web, by 1,000%, which is sad. Twisted Metal looks like an award-winning show now, too. This is how things happen. When this type of movie comes out, now it makes everything else look kind of bad. It was like, it's not really that great. But now when you see something this garbage-like, you go, okay, that was actually pretty decent. It teaches you to appreciate that, hey, the rest of this stuff was kind of decent. This was pure trash. From all perspectives. That's why Spider-Man wasn't anywhere near Madam Web. Sony ain't gonna risk it to promote a potential flop. Yeah, but here's the thing. It wouldn't have been a flop at all. My thing is, who and why and who okayed this in general? Like, it does feel like this wasn't even related to Marvel Studios. It feels like this movie had nothing to do with Marvel Studios or nothing to do with Sony. Like, neither. So, and that's the thing that baffles me a bit even more. Does that mean Madam Web's IP is in the wind? Does that mean, like, Alien and Predator it was? Until recently? Is it just, unlike Spider-Man and all the other Spider-Verse characters, is it just floating out there in the random void? Does neither Sony nor Marvel Studios own this? And if the case, why the hell has neither bought it? At least if Sony owned it, it could bring it in there with Marvel Studios, and Marvel Studios will cake it up. It'll be the greatest thing you'll ever see. And if Marvel Studios bought it, it's the same thing. So it's like, and if it's owned by either of them, why did you even okay this to begin with? You shouldn't, even if Spider-Man name wasn't even mentioned. And even if you don't mention his name, by the way, that doesn't make it a less of an atrocity. Because there was so much hints towards Aunt May being the mother of Peter Parker, even though they never said the baby's name was Peter Parker for legal reasons, obviously, for some reason. Once again, if it is Sony, they'd legally be able to say Peter Parker. So it's like, it's so odd. It feels like this was some college dorm course instead of a movie that was supposed to be tied to something big. And I don't care if that makes a director somewhere mad. It's like, yeah, you basically made a college level movie for a AAA franchise. Because this would be acceptable in a college standpoint, but not in it should not be acceptable in no Hollywood standard. Like, that's a director that should be, like, no offense, fired, and basically so that can be shown that, yeah, you need to go back to school and learn. Ugh. So, oh, I have an Amber Alert in my area. Yeah, that's a big description. That's sad. That sounds like a family situation kind of deal where the parents are separated and it's not a good situation. Yeah, the AI is doing brilliantly with these hills. That's why it feels so far from the franchise. They're trying to get a new character in there without risking already established ones. Yeah, but once again, there's no risk. There's only and this is something I've learned from watching a lot of other cinematographers and people who've been kind of critiquing a lot of this now. Not the one I mentioned, like professional cinematographers who design movies, direct movies, and things like that. There's only as much risk as there is that you're allowing for. And what I mean by this is you're allowing the risk to happen by, in general, letting a director go off the hinges with some random character that's also a part of the main universe. Because even not having the characters' names in there, you still screwed the universe. You basically just pissed off every fan who's ever watched any of your movies that are related to this universe. So now they're going to have to go and do the Jessica Jones thing and the Luke Cage thing, and they're going to have to bring it back in a different way. Because I guarantee you we're going to see a Madam Web again later down the road, but it'll be redone and it'll be a part of the Spider-Verse properly, and it'll actually have Peter linked to it like it should be, and not Aunt May's child. It was so strange. Like I said, it's so strange. Also, a big part of it is cheap writers, cheap actors, cheap sound effects, cheap directors. I mean, yeah, but you can get away with that and still be good. Once again, in cinematography, cheap is bad, but cheap is not, doesn't mean your movie's gonna suck. That depends on the director themselves. What's ruining movies today is the directors. It's not even necessarily the budget. You can get away with the budget you have. I mean, clearly they had scenes in the movie that were there that were going to make the movie better. But those scenes were cut, and the only thing that were added, and this is, by the way, director's choice at the end of the day, this has nothing to do with budget, from what I've seen reviewers talking about this movie, is there were scenes cut in favor of scenes that felt like someone, once again, pushing in a narrative. They just wanted this movie to be about their brain. Because a lot of people are comparing, a lot of the scenes in this movie felt like watching The Room. If you've ever seen the movie The Room, you'll know what I mean. And look it up if you haven't. Like the movie, it's called The Room. THE space ROOM. The Room. If you look at that movie and look at some of the useless and weird, cringy dialogues between characters in that movie, and by the way, that movie was on purposely. The difference between these two movies is The Room is on purposely designed that way because it's supposed to be that way. It's supposed to be this weird, artsy kind of, we're gonna make it fringe and out there and ooh, wild camera angles and things that don't make sense and oh, we're in an M Night Shyamalan or what is that, R.C. Escher film. It's like, that's what a lot of cinematographers are ragging on this movie for, because it was like the director decided, let's cut out everything that's important to what this movie is supposed to be for just Madame Web alone. Let's not even talk about even any other character, just Madame Web alone. It felt like, let me take all of the things that are comic book and that make the character Madame Web out, and I'm going to turn this into a soap opera. It's literally not even a Madame Web movie, and that's what people are hating on it about. Like, this is not even just a travesty that you would excuse, oh, not having certain characters. It's a travesty that should never even have been allowed on the screen. Like I said, we're talking like cinematographers are even arguing like, what company clearly lost money on this? Because this should have never been released. This would have been canceled. Like if any actual cinematographer or director had gotten their hands on this, or any actual proper smart company had looked at this, that would have been canceled. Not even just cut out or had names cut out. The whole project would have been scrapped. It would have lost less money that way than trying to get people to come to the movie theaters for this movie. It lost more money doing that than just canceling the whole damn movie. That's why I said I doubt this director is going to get any more movies. I do not expect to see this director do any more Marvel movies after this fiasco and how much money it's going to cost him. And if it was done, and no offense, I know this is going to be strong words, but if it was done by a third-party IP that somehow has access to Madame Web that's neither Sony nor Marvel, then Marvel or Sony, aka Disney for Marvel, should definitely sue them. I know that's strong, but it's like, this hurts your IP. Like... Like, especially if it wasn't in-house and it wasn't just a director fumbling their job. That's less of a loss. Still stupid that you allowed it, but if this was a third party, slap them in the head. Because it's like, that is literally almost like someone coming out, making a phony version of your product, and then pretending it's theirs. It's not exactly like that because there is some gray area here, but it's close. If it's third party, that is. Like I said, who knows? The movie is so confusing, I don't think nobody can tell. Because no one's sure, was this made by Sony? Was this made by Marvel? Did they okay this? Did they know this was happening? No one really knows. Because of how weird this movie and confusing this movie ended up being. And terrible. And how much money it's lost. So, that just baffles me. But I do think that people shouldn't go see it, though. I do, just like with anything, like, when it's that bad, and clearly no one even took the time to even try to make this a thing, then you definitely shouldn't put your money into it and support it. Because it just reiterates them doing this more. And it ruins anything that any of us care about. And then pretty soon there'll be nothing left. So... it'll just be monotonous, cheap bullcrap over and over again. Alright, final link for the journey, chat. Now you get to see the last part. So we delivered planks here, right? You're going to see how this works. We've got some planks here. Here. Also, you'll notice how much money we're already back up to. That's not even this. This is going to make us the most out of the entire journey. Get our AI started. It was done by Sony, so yeah. So that don't expect to see that director anymore. Because I will say that's the one at least big thing that speaks volumes, and even in big corporations, is money. If it loses the corporation money, you tend to not keep your job. So there's at least some shining light in that. Even though I think Sony was terrible for letting this happen to begin with. But, yeah, okay, so you see this, chat? You see how, now it doesn't bring that many wood planks. We only brought 2. But I brought, as you can see, a buttload of fuel before. Like, I brought fuel a lot here for a while. But if you keep bringing, if I had someone to constantly bring a bunch of extra wood planks and stack this all the way to 25, this thing would infinitely make 10 crude oil and max these out constantly. It always makes 1 crude oil over time. But this takes far longer, and as you can see, it takes forever to fill this up. Because both these tanks can hold 100,000 kilograms. These guys right here. So, and we can carry 20,000 in this fuel tank. I always load up 10 for one side of the harbor and 10 for the other side of the harbor. And I'll show you that why we do that as well once we get there. Now we're going to see how good the AI does with the tanker uphill. On the uphills on the way back. We're gonna put her on the road though first. I like to at least get it started. Alright, there you go, truck. Let me finish reading. Mostly yes, but a superhero movie needs big budget for special effects. No, I've seen superhero movies work with less. I mean, Ryan Reynolds proved you don't need a big budget. He may be Ryan Reynolds, but he still isn't Marvel Studios or Disney. Or even Sony. So, that's not necessarily true either. Plus, because it's Sony, budget doesn't matter then. The budget is big as Sony gives it. But that's not what killed it. That movie still would have been good even with the cheap graphics it went with. Even with the lip desyncing problem that the main villain had. If they hadn't have done so many terrible things to the storyline and eliminating entire scenes for some director's personal fantasy of trying to create some weird Spider-Woman soap opera that's with her paramedic friend, it's weird. Let's put it that way. That's basically the movie. It's a Spider-Man woman soap opera with her relationship with her paramedic boyfriend / boyfriend, not boyfriend. Against some random guy that may or also not have been her father / mother's boyfriend that nobody who knows, nothing was explained. But it was in the original trailer. That's the thing. So it's like this movie has no excuse. Like, none whatsoever. Sony has no excuse for letting this director do this to this movie. Just like Disney had no excuse with what happened with Star Wars. Which we all know what happened to that director. So, I just think it's hilarious. Let's see, question or not. Name a movie franchise that was so bad that it was somehow good. The Tremor franchise. That movie is fantastic. You want to talk about a cheap movie that somehow made a good. It got worse over time. There was just some point they were just, you can't make but so many Tremors, even with cheap budget, and still make it seem hilarious and cool and still kind of scary and dark. But Tremors is the best. Like, look at this place. This is Tremor heaven out here. But yeah, it's like Tremors is the best movie. But also, yeah, Kung Pao is a good example of this as well. a movie that on purposely knew it didn't have a lot to work with. But then what you do is you make the things that you know that you can work with better. But that's the thing that makes that movie bad. Madam Web. Is that wasn't even done whatsoever. Like, none of that was done. Like, you can make even a cheap movie be good. I mean, the FNAF movie is actually pretty brilliant. Some of these cheaper movies, like, they're showing, it's not about the graphics. That's not what's killing these movies. It's the writing and these really selfish little, no offense, I'll even go as far as saying bratty directors. Who want to just push their own IP when they're working with an IP that's not even theirs. Go write your own IP then. Or can you not do that? It's doing better. These hills are normally 15 miles an hour. That if you see it going up, it's getting up to 19 to 20 and then crests it and goes back to normal speed. My upgrades on this truck are perfect for this route. Now the AI can kind of just do this route for me in the background. The irony is now, other than issues it may have, I now can like go eat and do all kinds of stuff while this thing makes me money in the background. Sharknado. That movie did do okay. I'll admit, that movie did okay. Once again, a good example of this movie's so bad, it's good. Does anyone remember the Sci-Fi Channel? Like the Sci-Fi B-movie era of the Sci-Fi Channel? That was actually a pretty brilliant era because that kind of showcased a huge example of sometimes writing and sometimes just having the right things and the right combinations and knowing how to work with what you got still can make a decent looking movie even if it's very cheap. The Sci-Fi Channel. God, those days. Yeah, I'm surprised. She is starting to slow down. But she maintained most of this hill at 20. Oh, she stabilized for a second there at 25. It's doing way, way, way better than it was. I'm very impressed. Nice. Means my gear ratio is also good. Because it's not losing too much gear, slowing down either. That's also something gear ratios affect. See, I had to shift down there to keep power, but now it's in a place where it can kind of hold its ground. That's pretty good. Yeah, 22 is a lot better. I pray we never get a modern Starship Troopers movie or show, because I'm 1,000% confident someone will ruin it. I don't know. That's the irony. It's one of those. Well, okay. The irony in this is I actually think it would be ruined if someone tried too hard. I know that sounds crazy, but Starship Troopers also fits in that category, where it's not a bad movie by any means, or at least not by just what it's trying to achieve cinematography-wise, special effects with what it's working with. Now, if you look at, depending on your perspective and what type of story you like, it is a pretty bad movie. But that's only to people who just don't like that imperialistic type universes that get told in darker stories that Starship Troopers goes around, which is humans are almost as bad as the bugs in some ways. Not literally, but not like Warhammer level, but you know, still pretty rough on how the humans are treated. but it's also almost in part of, it's also a necessity in that universe as survival against the arachnids, at least to a certain extent, at least to a certain timeline. But that being said, that movie feels like you'd actually be better off if someone who was doing it, as long, all you would just not need to do is you just need to know it's a bug movie. You need to have a bunch of awesome Starship Troopers fighting some bugs. Gotta have decent, cheap. I'm even gonna say cheap. Decent, cheap level. Maybe mediocre, advanced level. I said mediocre though. Kind of special effects and some decent characters. I wouldn't say do Rico anymore. You couldn't cover Rico because that's just, you're not gonna be able to go back to those days. Rico is done. We've covered Rico as much as we can. If you're gonna get Rico, you'd have to choose one of the stories from the already made stories. And then that's where it's going to have a lot more problems, I feel like. That's when it can get screwed up. I feel like it would be safer just a random new squad. Or something like that. I do think that movie could get away with that. Helldivers 2 feels like an unofficial Starship Troopers game. It does, even though we do have an official Starship Troopers game, which is funny. That plays almost like that game, but not exactly. I do find that funny, that there's kind of two bug games right now that are kind of similar. Helldivers is better in the aspect of zone control, and it's all about just getting in and defending an already existing line and territories. Whereas the Starship Troopers game is about building a base and defending against a horde of bugs, and trying to survive, or trying to push back the bugs and stuff like that. Not as much, but I will say Helldivers does the push back of the bugs as well. But Helldivers also has machines. Like, it's also Terminator, right? Kind of game. Just mixed with a Starship Troopers military type. Which I do like that. I want to play Helldivers 2 so bad. Like I said, if it does end up being on Game Pass, I think we're going to make it one of our games for this next month. I don't think it's on Game Pass. I don't remember seeing it. But also, something's going to be coming back, chat. Y'all are going to think... Okay, so... I feel real dumb, and I told this to James as well. So I want to reiterate. My DSX app for my control... that lets my access control and my normal PS5 control play on any game, right? Any game, right? Any game. How come my brain didn't put two and two together? Also, I want to talk about something else since this is a vlog. I have an apology to make to a certain company about something because I didn't understand something and I didn't realize it has the same problem Sea of Thieves has, but may not have that problem soon. We'll get to that in a minute. But I have an apology to make to Riot. To Riot Games. Because the reason why League is not on PlayStation is because it has a deal with Microsoft. So the only console it was talking about when they advertised Rift for console was Xbox. But not PlayStation. So they didn't lie about it. It was a miscommunication. But I really do wish they had specified that a little bit. It just said PC and Xbox. Or, excuse me, phone and Xbox. It should have said mobile and Xbox. Xbox One or whatever it is. Oh, AI's gonna have to stop. The other AI's freaking out. But I do have to apologize because for a while there I did kind of say that it was stupid and why did they kind of betray the PlayStation side of things. They did not. But that also gives some good news and some stupidity that brings me to my idiocy. I may have to go around this. We'll see how long it takes the AI to figure this out. All the AIs are communicating with each other, trying to bumper car their way through. I do love watching this. This in its own right, if you appreciate programming, is actually pretty insane. Even as primitive, as simple as what you're seeing here. Give it a second. The AI's got to pathfind its way. The little small truck is stuck. Mine's trying to... Oh, yep. That might have fixed it, though. Let's see. Come on. Y'all need to make up your minds. If these don't get out of my AI's way, I'll just drive around it. Sometimes it'll pathfind its way through if you give it long enough. See now it's starting to de-render vehicles to try to figure out what's causing it. The game scripting is very smartly designed. I'm gonna drive through though myself just to make this keep our progress. And I'll let the AI resume when I get back straight again. There we go. Alright. Let's see, I think it's PS5 and PC only. Well, Helldivers 2, yeah. I think it's, the thing is Xbox has a PC side, right? That's why I want to see if it's on Game Pass, but I agree with Tam King and Farseer. I don't think it's on there. Like, I don't think it's going to be on Game Pass for Helldivers 2. But I do want to say something else. But back to the League of Legends thing. So the fact that I can only play, the fact that I can play any game, right? So I can play any game that has a console setup in it and customize it how I want. So I have access to Xbox games on my Xbox app, right? You're probably fixing to see some 2 and 2 come together and go, oh, I see what he's talking about. So I've been playing Paragon, and Paragon's a great game, and I'm still going to show it on the channel at some point. But my brain has realized, and it took far too long to realize this, wait a minute! If I'm using DSX to play Paragon, why can't I use it to play a certain other MOBA that I've neglected for quite a while because of random issues and things I didn't understand? So expect to see something very special later this month. Or not this month, next month. Unless it happens before then, all of a sudden, I'm trying to get James to do it. He's so broken over the fact we've tried so many times on the other version of this game. And it doesn't have cross-platform on it. But I think I'm pretty sure this one does. I'm going to test it before we do it. I'll still do it on my channel on my own at some point, just to still show it off. Show it some love. But I'll see if I can get James to re-download it. If James re-downloads it, we'll be doing it sooner rather than later, if it works. If it doesn't work, then I'll be scheduling my own stream for it later on next month. But I do think it cloud end up on Xbox. You know what? Yeah, you could. Yeah, if you're talking about Final Fantasy Cloud, I assume, not the cloud like Internet Cloud. I assume you're talking about Final Fantasy Cloud. Yeah, I could see that at some point. I could see that being the one that's traded over. But that's the thing. That's also what brings me back to something that why I blamed Riot for the wrong thing, but also gives me hope still. Because we're getting this thing where Xbox is bringing their titles over the PlayStation, this means League of Legends still could come to PlayStation at some point. But it's going to have to be Xbox kind of agreeing to do it, basically. And Riot together. Which I'm pretty sure Riot probably already wanted to do that, but I think they, like I said, they had an exclusive deal with PC and Microsoft. So Xbox and PC only. So I think that was the original, because they were already PC, but I think their console deal was Xbox and mobile, but no PlayStation or Nintendo Switch. So the cloud could not cloud. Cloud, not cloud. No, Helldivers 2. I do think it could end up on Xbox. Oh, Helldivers 2, that would be good. I would love to see it end up on Xbox, because then I could get it on Game Pass. If it does end up on there before I end up buying that game, also, actually I should ask this. Would y'all rather, now that I've got everybody kind of in here in this little vlog slash chilling drive stream, do y'all want to see Homeworld 3 still next month? Actually, I'm going to put up 3 votes, because I do want everyone to have a chance to choose. Because I've been trying to keep to a certain theme with certain things, and we're almost there, organization-wise, with my channel after all this time, once again. So we can either get these 3 choices. We can get Helldivers 2 on Steam, since even if it's not on Xbox. I can get Helldivers 2 on Steam. I can get Homeworld 3. Because I'm pretty sure it's cross-platform, the PC one with PlayStation 5. So if Tam King ever gets Helldivers 2, he should be able to join in. So we can either get Helldivers 2 on PC, Homeworld 3. Not all 3 of these are one of these 3, or Pharaoh. We can go Total War Pharaoh. I'm not counting X4 right now because I am going to be getting a DLC for X4 no matter what, because it is cheap. It is like dirt cheap, so. But the games are not, so they can only be one, just like Highlander. So it's between those 3 right now I have kind of going in my head at the moment as far as new games are concerned. I'm a little too kind of spread thin to kind of think of any other new games right now to add to the voting. If anyone has any suggestions, though, that they want to add to the voting pool, please let me know. Or just vote for it and I'll add it to the voting pool if it's something I didn't remember or kind of forgot and other people might want to see. Homeworld 3 is $60 and Helldivers... Oh, wow. Helldivers 2 is cheaper. I'll give it that. If it were my choice, it'd probably be Helldivers 2. Just because of budget. Because I'm trying to budget. Don't you hit me. God, I hate the AIs that try to break the law. Those are for the police jobs. Sometimes they'll run into you and break some of your stuff on your truck. And now that this is my truck, I actually have to pay for that. By the time James gets back on here, he's going to be like, why did your level change so drastically? Lots of fuel and delivery trucks and Ghost Rider trucks and making runs and things like that. Why is it smoking? Why are we smoking? Oh, I guess it's just, there's the traction on the road, the tires spinning a little bit. Trying to get going. You see, and both are really good. So Helldivers 2 because I want to see Ard Not Rage at Darius and James for Friendly Fire. Okay, so we have a vote for Helldivers 2 so far. Okay. So we have 2 votes for Helldivers 2 so far because Tam King said he's with Foster on this one. Alright. And it is cheaper, so it'll be better for my budget. It actually might allow me to get 2 DLCs for X4 and make X4 a bit more versatile for what we want to do with it. Plus it'll fit into the, yeah, you know what? That's perfect actually. Because this would have worked either with Homeworld or Helldivers. I'm trying to keep to 2 different themes for next month. So we can kind of keep a schedule. 3 at best. We're going to go basically 3 main themes. One of them's auxiliary. The other 2 are the main themes. The 2 main themes are going to be sci-fi and medieval. Medieval fantasy. For obvious reasons you can probably guess. As a certain someone starts his series tomorrow. We're going to be starting a certain someone's Crimson Knight series tomorrow. So, we're going to be doing medieval fantasy, sci-fi, and simulator theme for this next coming month. I've already got ATS prepped and ready to go. James luckily got me. And because of James, this is why this is able to work out this way. Thanks to James, I now have more than one simulator we can play. Also thanks to Xbox having Game Pass. And a lot of the simulators are on that. We're going to have a simulator run where we're going to have some ATS, some Motor Town during a week. We're going to change these out per week, by the way. Now, multiplayer will be subject to change a little bit. Just because I have to play that to James's work schedule. And when he needs to get, like, rest and try to get his sleep schedule back in order, too. So multiplayer will still be whatever it ends up being. We'll try to do our best to play it to the themes that we're going to be doing. From both our sides, whatever it may be. But most of the time, the multiplayer ones will probably play to their own rules to make it easier for me and James both our schedules. But single player wise on our end, yeah. It is going to be medieval fantasy is the first main primary theme. Sci-fi fantasy is the second primary theme. And then auxiliary theme will be simulators. I'm also trying to find a place for my channel a little bit, you're going to notice, in this next month. This is me trying to find some footing. As much as fun as I've had jumping around to all the genres in the world, it's getting to be unrealistic. And I'm going to be honest. And it's starting to also kind of drive me up a wall a little. Even though we're still going to go back and play these games eventually and beat them. I don't want to make too much promises of when yet right now. Because that's also unrealistic. But we are going to do it. Most likely they'll happen during the themes. This is why the theme thing is going to happen as well. To help balance it out a little bit. But realistically, as we go forward, we are going to try to find some sort of primary footing. Meaning something that the channel will focus, probably 2 or 3 things that the channel will focus on, and the rest will be, we do them when we decide to do a theme around them. And there won't be too many games during those weeks so we don't overwhelm that temporary theme. Otherwise, these games don't realistically, sadly, get done. Especially when I have emergencies or things I have to do IRL that kind of change that schedule around. So, or family stuff or anything. So, we are going to be starting to go towards that. So, that to all of the people watching my channel, this isn't like I said, doesn't mean I'm going to quit all games, certain types of games or anything like that once we make our decisions. But it does mean there'll be less of certain genres. Once those themes and those genres for the main primary of the channel have been picked. I already have an idea what they're probably gonna be. Just personally, because it's the stuff I play the most. But I'm also a wily ADHD crazy person. So, there's, like I said, we're still gonna play other things here and there. And do series for certain things here and there. But I gotta start wrangling it in so we can actually do what we've been doing lately and actually getting proper series and showing off games appropriately. Like we've done with Motor Town. This has probably been my most proud of series so far. Not only thanks to James getting this game for me and helping me out, him joining in and playing it as well, but as far as the organization I've had with these episodes, and the things I've done in the background with it, and actually knowing that I need to focus in and having time to do certain things. Like having prepped properly today for when we went into the garage and changed the truck and made it set up for this stream and this chill little vlog. I have more fun and enjoy our streams more when I do it this way. And it keeps me a lot more off edge, especially when I'm stressed in IRL. So, alright, I'm going to drive this part because it has a hard time through the dock. We're at the very last end of the stretch of this drive. Also for this episode, this will be our final delivery for tonight. Because this is the whole rig. This would be rinse and repeat now. Now at this point, unless I wanted to take fuel to top off the oil rig and give it more fuel, I would now go back. I'd have to drive back to well, I teleport part of the way there to make it shorter. But I drive back, back to the wood logging area. The logging area. Pick up more logs. Take them to the lumber mill. Pick up lumber. Take it back to the what's it called, and that's the circle you want to make. Now you're gonna see me make a U-turn in here that'll let me go into the docking bay over there and drop off this trailer. Now I'm not gonna drop it off. I'm actually gonna do another run on my own, off camera, but just to maximize. But all right, look how much money we're back up to already. And I want to note, if you go back and you see how much I spent at the beginning of this and how much I had then, this route makes so much money. And look at my XP. We're at level 60 basically. So by the next stream, you will see the next version of this truck. If it didn't take so long to drive these routes realistically, like real life time, like IRL time, I would earn the truck on stream. But that's something I also have to come to terms with streaming wise. Certain things just aren't doable on stream. They're too long. We have to either break it up into parts when it's too long, like what we're going to do with X4 stuff, or I have to do some stuff off camera. Now for X4, we're just going to break that up into like its own thing. That's going to be its own unusual way of organization to make it work. Because the way X4 is, every stream is going to be completely different. And who knows what can happen during the stream. So there's really no grinding in that game. So it's going to be whatever happens. I'm going to be treating it like our Bannerlord series. Basically, we're going to start, once we do have the DLC needed. We're going to go, and we're going to see how far the Red Queen can make it and see if she achieves her goal of raiding and taking over Earth. Or Terra. I guess it would be in that game, I assume. With the DLC. Which is also why we need the DLC, because we need the DLC for the Terran Alliance, the Terran faction, the Earth humans. So, let's see. Let's see. I can see it now. Art not fighting off a horde of bugs while Darius and James try to each other over in the worst possible time and getting everyone killed. I definitely see for James calling down a strike that kills everyone. Absolutely. Hell, James might kill me with a supply pod. He's almost done that in other games. Just accidentally drop a supply pod on my head. Insanity. Oh, you know what? I just realized I didn't drop off the other half. I'm an idiot. Hold on, chat. Sometimes I'm dumb. I only made half of my money right there. Never mind. We still didn't make all of our money. Me being dumb. There's the other half of our money. Never mind. Now we're level 60 and we're up to 133,000. So yeah, the full run is it's super OP. So now we don't need to go get the log trailer. We can just get one here. We're just going to drop this off. I'm going to show y'all what I would do to reset. So we're going to go over here into this parking spot. Oh, there we go. Alright, get out. It's not perfectly straight, but that's fine. It's basically just to drop this off. It'll disappear anyways. These don't stay spawned. Oops. I didn't detach the trailer. So I'm gonna go ahead and re-prep for the next one because I have to stop for gas anyways. Towards the next stop. We're not gonna start it over. Y'all aren't gonna have to watch this part, but. Okay, turn off engine. So now we want log trailer again. Ooh, this one's purple. Doesn't match our Ghost Rider theme right now, but you know, hey. A little bit of Guardian colors in there. I do think purple would look good with Robbie's version of Ghost Rider, though. And now I would set my route if I was going to go right now, which I'm not going to go at the moment, but I'm just going to get ready to end it, But that's the whole route right there, and then you go back to the logging and you start it again. That way you make the most money and you keep your logistics up, because the way it works is it starts scaling up more and more and more and more. Because the more you start providing the proper resources to the places making the materials, the more materials get made and the more resources you can deliver. Now, if I had someone, once again, this is a very public, lobby-oriented game as well. And maybe one day we're going to jump into one and kind of show that off and see how it behaves in a proper, like, with everybody doing something. If there was someone running a bus route, or if I had an AI bus route like James does, it would actually increase the population while I'm playing over time because of completing bus routes and transporting people back and forth. It helps migrate people to towns and grows the town's populations, which grows how much money they want for those products. Basically, supply and demand. It increases the demand for everything, and things get better and better and better. This game is so good. I love this game. This has become I just played this game at night just to chill now. Like, I'm probably going to do that off camera after we end here. Just let my AI continue doing runs while I work on some food, eat something. Stuff like that. Also, what I miss? Hold on. I remember on Helldivers 1, I loaded into a game and I landed on the host's head as he was about to get on the escape ship. I then ran into the ship, finished the level, and left him dead, LOL. Was the fastest mission I've ever done. That's hilarious. I also heard there are hackers in the game already, but some people ain't reporting them because they're on the machine front. Oh, because they're helping beat the machines? Is that why they're not being reported? Hackers are helping defeat the machines. That's ironic. That's what real life's gonna be one day. I think I might even have the vid on my channel. It was hilarious for me. But I bet he punched his grandma, LOL. That's the only thing I hate about crossplay. With PC, Farseer. I always turn it off if I can. Yeah. That is the only bad thing about crossplay. But to be fair, on the servers that are crossplay, there shouldn't be any hackers. At least not that I know of. I don't know. And also, hacking is a strong word. I'd have to see it to really, truly kind of believe it. There's just too much stuff today that... When I hear anything anymore, I kind of take it with a grain of salt now. And I don't care what it doesn't matter what it is anymore either. It could be about a burrito. Some random burrito off somewhere. Like, that someone ate. And went, that burrito was filled with delicious rainbows. At this point, that could be real and not real at the same time. If you get my drift. It's like, so. That's also, I love that. They ain't hackers, they're special democracy force. Jesus. That's what the role is going to be called. It was said here, Farseer deserves credit if this becomes a real thing in real life. Everyone needs to pay Farseer a certain amount of money for anyone who says this from now on. If this becomes a real life job and later on in our society. They'd be like the psychics in Starship Troopers. Yep. That's hilarious. They're special. They're special democracy voices. I don't know what you mean. It's a friend. Cheers. Oh man, it's good stuff. Alright, I'm gonna leave it on that screen if my mouse don't try to move. That's a good little angle. I got some good screenshots of all these. Actually, I'm gonna take a screenshot of this too. Hopefully this don't mess with my stream. I don't think it does. Boom, screenshot taken. Beautiful. I'm gonna get one of my bigger truck as well. Like I said, I plan on making a JPEG for the series at some point, and I'll just add it to each of them, or to the cover of the playlist. However I want to end up doing that. That rapid fire railgun is totally regulated. Exactly, it's definitely regulated. I don't know what you're talking about. Completely regulated. It's within science regulations. I don't know what you're talking about. Anyways, it's legal. It's not being fired at humans. That's terrible. What? How long till we end up in one day we meet a bug society or some other society and that ends up becoming the next problem? Just want to point that out. It's like, we already have problems with that kind of stuff now. Can you imagine? It's like, it's not shooting at humans, it's shooting bugs! It's legal to make it a rapid fire totally against Geneva Convention type weapon. Also, one last thing, Darius got one shot by an Eclipse in X4. That's hilarious. He showed off that ship so hard in the picture, just for it to be erased. I saw a glitch where a guy had no cooldowns on his strategies. It was glorious. That's hilarious. Yeah, he had special treatment. The Admirals needed him to win that day. Or the stratagems, yeah. The Admirals needed a win that day, so they threw infinite budgets at him. Oh, man. Oh, goodness, it's so good. But, alright, Chad, I'm going to wrap it up here for tonight. We've done a good job leveling up. We're 87 now. We've pretty much caught up with James's level driver-wise straight up. And I'm pretty sure my trucking level's higher than his now. I don't know what level he was from playing last night, because he played early this morning, so. During my, like, wee hours of my morning, and more midday for him. Before he went to work. So... But yeah, so I'm sure we're right on his tail, if not higher than him now. Thanks to these drops we've made. I know it will be by the time I'm done tonight. It definitely will be by tonight, because I'm going to earn up my money for my next truck now. That's my next goal. ATS is already in that spot, which is why I'm not focusing on it right now. It's already ready for us to upgrade into the next truck. So when we do that later this week, actually this week is going to be fantasy, so we can't do ATS this week. Like I said, we're sticking to a rule now. This week is fantasy, medieval fantasy. So we're going to stick to things that are medieval fantasy oriented this week, starting tomorrow. Tomorrow will be the Crimson Knight. Wednesday, depending on my schedule and what I've got to do, this week's going to be kind of busy for me. There's a lot of stuff happening. So... Wednesday I may not do anything, or if I do something, that means something won't be either Thursday or Friday. One of those. I don't want to say which one, because I'm actually not sure which it's going to be yet. Most likely it'll end up Friday will be when I do the bigger streams, another bigger stream, and Wednesday will be another day off. But tomorrow is the Crimson Knight. Today, although I say day off, today was supposed to be a day off I was going to take, but this game is very tame. It is very, very relaxing, so I figured it wouldn't be much. And it was fun. I enjoyed it. And I got to talk to you guys for a while that we don't usually get to do, so it's hard to do that in other games. They wanted to test the strength of the ship and fought the Eclipse and got it super lasered. Just because it can kill an Imperial 2 Star Destroyer doesn't mean it can tangle with an Emperor's flagship. That's true. Well, I mean, the Eclipse can kill almost anything. It's technically until the First Order, it was the apex of apex. You know, even you can still argue it kind of still is. But Tam King said, GG, y'all. Have a good one. You too, Tam King. And big shout out to my moderator, Foss here. Making sure we've got enough fuel to get to our next stop. And also, big shout out to Tam King for joining in chat tonight. And chilling and chatting. And to everyone else who sees this stream, or sees this video, and didn't get to catch the live stream. I hope you enjoyed the video. And big shout out to you as well. It still is, But big shout out if you didn't get to catch the live stream. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Seriously, I'm loving some Motortown. And once again, I'll say it again, support this game, Motortown Behind the Wheel. If you like driving sims, especially like indie level driving sims, you're looking for something a little bit lesser on the budget, but a completely like detailed and full in-depth game, this is your game. All kinds of driving types. You don't have to be a big rigger like I like to be. You can be a bus driver, taxi driver, police car, technically a getaway driver if you can find them around town, race car driver for time attacks, all kinds of things. Car rescue and truck rescue with wreckers, ambulance and fire truck, trash truck, concrete truck, you get the picture. Driving simulator at its finest. And the customizations to the truck, both aesthetically as far as decals are concerned, and the parts that you customize with the gear ratios and everything else. Such a good game. Very, very detailed and very good indie game. Support your indie developers, everyone, seriously. And that is my word, as always, for the night. But that thing is a mini Death Star, that's true. But thank you so much for everyone. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you all in our next one for the Crimson Knight tomorrow. Peace and love, everyone. Bye, everyone. Bye.